Hello, this is Dr. Jean, dear future people. Well, today we are going to talk about community, but it's more like community organization beyond psychology, beyond sociology, and beyond politics. So let's see. It requires effort to see continuity in the community. For the default is to see not the field of life, but to see particles. And I'm going to explain why. But first, we need to understand that the basis of the metaphor, okay, is really this, okay, and this is the metaphor, but we are now using the reverse, okay? So we are going to say that there is a particle that we imagine, and the same way this is a particle, okay? This is a multitude of particles, and this is a multitude of particles, okay? Now, this is what we have currently in 2023. This is a simple model that we cannot really look beyond. But what is it that we aim at? We are going to aim at something more like this, to understand that the community of the living is a field, and rather than a multitude of members, multitude of separate units, it really is an interconnected network, okay, of an organic unity. So how are we gonna come from this, which is a simple model, to this, which is the next level? Well, let's see. First, let's understand how did this simple model come about. Well, first let's talk about mathematics a little bit. So how do we define the limit of a function? Well, it's an imaginary value, okay, toward which the values of a series of a function converges, okay? It never really reaches this value, but it's very, very close to it, okay? So it's an imaginary number that we are gonna use to understand the properties of a function, okay? And so what we are gonna say is that the human particle, otherwise called a person or an individual, is an imaginary unit to which certain observations converge, okay? So it's a unit of perception. So this is an imaginary limit, an imaginary unit that we are going to call a person, okay? And this person will then have certain properties, okay? And that's how we distinguish this person from somebody else, okay? Now, so how do we use this model? Well, first of all, we use this model as a unit, okay, to understand certain basic properties. And then we kind of break this down to personality traits, personality type, okay? Then we imagine that there is an average person forming a multitude, okay, like a set, okay? And then we can count persons. And then we see a person as a member of a greater group, be it a family, a class, or a society, or whatever. Then we are able to project our emotions to a person, to a unit, okay? And sometimes we bring this so far as to imagine a divine unit, a divine person that also we direct our emotional energies to. And then a person can have personal accountability, personal prestige, reliability, confidence, position, all kinds of things that we can attribute to a unit. Okay, so from this we see that the function is, that the person is really a functional unit. It is a functional object that can be attached to affection, classification, analysis, cooperation, and learning. So we use this for our everyday thinking process. We use this as a useful tool, as a model, a very simplistic, but a working model. So I'm not saying that unit thinking in terms of the human particle, person, individual, is bad. No, it's very useful and it's very good. But how can we transcend, go beyond the human particle concept? Okay? Well, first of all, we need to understand that these personality traits and types that we have identified, okay, are approximations. They change, they shift, they evolve all the time. And if we have time enough to observe a person, then we will see that the person really changes. Okay? And what was there 10 years ago may not even be there right now. Maybe it's something entirely different. Okay? So actuality always eludes our categories. Okay, our categories is always an artificial framework, and artificial frameworks are always models. Okay, so categories are models, and it's not like that in real life. And then we need to understand that it's not only personality traits, types, and properties that change all the time, but also there is not an average person. An average person, like a mathematical limit, okay, is a virtual limit, okay, which the function never really reaches, okay. So there is not an average, there is local uniqueness, and there is gradual transitions, okay. And these gradual transitions are not passive. These gradual transitions are in constant motion because of the effects of one region of space and time and the other region of space and time. In other words, a person and its environment are really in organic unity. Okay, and there is infinite possibilities for variations depending on what acts more, what affects more somebody or something. So we will then understand that communities are really not multitudes. Communities are really not sets. They are multitudes and sets from the point of view of a very simplistic modeling. Okay? If we need a very simplistic models, then these things are properties of the model, not the real thing, because the real thing is an organic community, which is not dissectable, it's not reducible to separate parts, okay, because every so-called person, okay, is an integral part of a group, a community, a reality, and whatever prestige and reliability and accountability and whatever property we attribute to a person, okay, really also belongs to the group, because the group provides an active environment with which there is mutual, interaction, interliving, okay? So faith, affection, analysis, interaction is beyond interpersonal, okay? We can make a class shift and go on the level of the whole community and see the whole community as it changes as an organism, okay? So in other words, there's not a multitude of organs in the human body. There's no, okay, one organ is the heart, one organ is the kidneys, and the kidney and the heart are two organs. No, okay, because one is totally different than the other, and one interlives with the other, okay, and these are not just members of the human body, okay, these are special, unique members of the human body, which are in a special relationship with each other, okay. So let's go back to this these first two slides, okay. So when we talk about persons and a multitude, a set of persons, okay, like a set of particles here, then we really are very far away from understanding that this really is more like a life field, an interconnection of things, okay? And that our model is just very primitive because really there is no separation, there's no distinctness, there is no autonomy here at all. We may want to strive for that if somebody has that kind of philosophy, but that's not the fact of life. That's not how it works, okay? So, when we are trying to understand how we can go beyond this simple model, okay, then first of all, let's identify individual atomism, okay? In the concept of the intellectual article, individual particle, okay? And so we identify this as a first approach, as a first step in the evolution of understanding of what a community is. And when we are talking about divinity, okay, we do not regard divinity as a person, we do not regard divinity as a particle, a separate unit, but a field of life, a field of organicity, okay, that prevails not in the universe. Let's not, mix these things together, but in a reality which goes beyond the universe, because the universe is a projection, manifestation of reality, okay? And so life is not regarded as a multitude of separate living particles, of separate living units, okay? But it's an organic field. It's like the electromagnetic field. It's like a quantum field, okay? Which has no boundaries and it has no discrete points. So it's co-substantial with reality, okay? So divinity and life perceived as having no boundary and no special attachment to separate units, okay? It is a dynamic, they both are a dynamic totality. So, we have a motionless permanence, not changing, not evolving, and static. This is a dead universe, a physical universe, okay? And to this belongs the idea of an idol. But we are not talking about that. We are talking about organic communities. We are talking about a field of life, okay, which is a dynamic totality with no boundaries, always changing, always in motion, okay? So in time and in space, there is diversity, true diversity, not superficial diversity, okay? Nature abhors not vacuum, which is always, vacuum means free of something, free of air or free of something, okay? Nature abhors vacuity, okay? There is always effects everywhere. And if there is an effect, well, there are usually multiple effects, then there's effect summation. Effect summation means that there is a local uniqueness because of the special summation of effects which are different in every single point in space and in time, okay? So life is going to be unique, okay? But life is unique, yet it is continuous, like a field is continuous. It's not really, it does not really consist of particles. And again, as a repetition, as a review, let's draw our attention toward the fact that all our observations are local, okay, in space and in time, and they have a specific domain in which those observations are true. And so if all our observations are local, then we extend them toward a virtual infinity. And if we have few dimensional observation, then it appears that this artificial infinity that we create for ourselves, okay, is relatively homogeneous, okay? And we can make predictions, inference, generalizations, and because of that, our world will bring a lot of certainty. Now, let's do something different now, okay? Something that is fun. Now, let's analyze the sentence from our special point of view, of course. I think, therefore I exist. Okay, let's talk about that. So in this sentence, I think, therefore I exist. What is our starting point? Our starting point is I. So my identity is a human particle, right? And there are a lot of human particles, and I only look at things from a few viewpoints, okay? So from these few viewpoints, then all these particles are very similar, okay? So when I talk about my mind, then everybody has a similar mind, you know? Okay? So you have a similar ability to order things, to integrate things, to process things, because I am a human particle and you are also a human particle, and we observe and analyze things similarly. Okay? So when I say I think, therefore I am, then I assume that you think, therefore you are, and the two things are something very similar. This is extrapolation, linear mechanistic extrapolation, giving rise to the idea of particle identity. Okay? I think, therefore I am. You think, therefore you are. Okay? But we go beyond that. Okay? So this local personal observation, local traditions, customs, okay, can be extended and extrapolated, and that's good. But I have to understand that this extension and extrapolation is highly artificial. Okay, and so this gonna lead to a model, okay, that is highly artificial, okay, which has very little to do with reality. Okay, so I think, therefore I am has very, very, very little to do with reality, because it's an over simplification. Okay, so the community of living seems more homogeneous, more uniform. Okay, because I look at the community of living as consisting of particles that are roughly the same, not like human organs. Okay, one is a kidney, one is a heart. Okay, but as if the human body, okay, would consist of 10 separate distinct organs, and all are roughly the same. Well, this is not the case, right? So in this community, I am the kidney. In this community, you are the brain. In this community, you are the heart. Okay? Are we equal members? Are we similar members? Not at all. Okay? So, if we want to transcend this very simplistic, extremely simplistic view, how do we proceed? What is it that we have to have in order to understand, okay, that we can in fact go beyond this simplistic model? Well, whenever we want to go from a simplistic model to a more complex model, what is it that we need? Abundance, okay? Abundance of uniquely processed observation called life experience, okay? And so the more we have of these things, the less we extrapolate mechanistically, okay? So abundance, though, needs constant evolution, transitions, lessening the need for sharp contrasts, definite contours, no definite units, no static categories, classes, and laws, because we go beyond that, because we have more life experience, okay? So when you are on the road, okay, of course you have to follow the law, and you have to pay attention to traffic signs, but you have an instinct, you have a feeling of how to behave in a given situation, right? Because you have abundant life experience, okay? So if you have abundant life experience, then these simplistic models are less and less important for you. So money, competition, hoarding, fight for resources, okay, are gradually transcended because all of these things, okay, are based on the concept of human particles, okay, in competition. Remember, competition is based on what? Consensus, okay, of the relative homogeneity of the players, okay? But we are beyond that. We see that the community of living is an organic whole, okay? So how does theory stand in practice, okay? So transcendence of mental structures, imaginary units, laws, and extension, this is not static, requiring maintenance and effort. So whenever you have a theory, which is very good, because you have to start somewhere, you always have to have a work theory, okay? A working diagnosis of what's going on. Then you have to nurture this theory, okay? You have to cultivate this theory because the theory would change all the time. Only teenagers believe that, okay, I discovered a universal natural law and that's gonna stand the test of time and it's gonna remain the same. Well, for that, you would need a universe, and the universe is a small part of reality, a universe which is relatively permanent in time, so that it has permanent laws. Who said that? What kind of primitive naivete is necessary to think that, or to assume that? No, okay? The community of the living, like reality itself, is constantly evolving, and your theory should evolve along with that, okay? So constant review, we had a whole presentation on the importance of review, is always necessary. And yes, I mean, you may have regression because of sickness, disasters, etc., and you fall back on tradition. And tradition is going to be your friend, like we said multiple times, okay? So, and when you are weak and sick, then you need the idea of permanence, the idea of static support that you can lean on, okay? And that's understandable, fine. But when you are healthy and you are robust, because you have abundant life experience, okay? Then you don't need these things. You don't need your imaginary primitive model of a community consisting of separate individual members, like human atoms, like human articles, okay? Particles, I'm sorry. Okay, so please, make the effort. Make the mental effort to go beyond that stage. So, the community of the living is a field, like an electromagnetic field, of continuous organic energy with constant dynamic change and infinite potentiality. Okay? So the community here is different from the community there. Okay? But they potentially interact. And so here is our slogan for today. We are all in it together. Okay? So distinctions, hierarchy, representation, institutions, organizations, simple rules, laws, are all necessary aids and support in case of emergency or regression, or we just don't have time to cultivate, deeply understand and analyze, okay? But even if we go beyond these things, we need to understand that we are all in it together. I am the liver, you are the bowel. I am the leg, you are the hand, okay, or arm. Okay, so we belong together and we are not separate from each other. We are all part of an organism. We are all a special part of an organism. And it doesn't matter if a group is small or another group is large. Both are important, okay? Is really the liver superior to the, I don't know, spleen, because the liver is larger than the spleen? Of course not. Okay, because they all have special and unique functions, and no two liver cells are the same. So the community of living has a degree of organicity, okay, with infinite potentiality, transitions, variations, okay, that create abundance. And if you are abundant with life experience, then you will see that. And so if we identified the community as a field, as a life field, then we have to talk about community spirit, okay, which is the texture that holds life together, okay. So in this context, we are going to say that the community of humans, okay, have some sort of coordination. And for coordination, you have to have a standardized belief system, traditions, customs, and this coordination, okay, brings together the separate members of the community. Well, separate localities, separate organs, okay. But this separation is, of course, in your first approach of analysis. So in other words, there is something that holds all of this together. And what is it that holds all of this together? Okay, well, it's immediately clear. Okay, it's easy to see that one of the things that hold all of these together is common life experience. Okay, it's interliving. And it's the abundance of life experience that makes the organism rich. But it is also the common life experience that holds together the imaginary separate parts as a glue, okay? So the more variety, the richer the content, the more adaptable that system is on the long run. So you can influence this, okay? You can be a liver cell, but a special liver cell. And you do that by making an effort, okay, to do things well. And how do you do things well? By having abundance of life experience, okay? A high level of organization, but an organization that changes all the time. It gives you the robustness, it gives you the ability to maintain your uniqueness, okay? Because if you neglect all of this, then you will lose your uniqueness, and you also gradually lose the texture, okay? The common life experience that hold the community together, okay? So understand that common life experience, okay, has a degree of commonness, okay, but it is also has different aspects, different perspectives, okay, viewed from here or from here or from there, okay, but there is some degree of commonness nevertheless, and that holds together a community. And the more the life experiences, the common life experiences do you have, okay, the more robust you are, and the longer you survive. And there's no question about that, because there's more texture, which more or less make you stand the test of time. But again, this surviving longer, okay, is surviving longer a little bit, because reality changes and there are infinite possibilities. Okay, so the community spirit, okay, has this great force deriving from common life experiences. Now, there is another possibility. If you choose to be mentally inert, then instead of having a large organism with organized life experiences and an abundance, you might choose denial. Okay, you just simply deny new information and you shut your senses. And again, I'm talking about communities, not individuals. Okay, and so that's going to be orthodoxy, which fixes everything in space and time. So you may have common practices, common ancestors, common past events, common lifestyle, common rituals, common prohibitions, dictates, taboo, common aspirations, and common legend. Okay? So this is the easy way out. You see, when you fix things, you fix the importance of life experiences and you deny, you neglect everything else, okay, so that you have a stronger texture, so that you have a simple community spirit, okay, that will create then uniformity and a unity, okay, a unity through uniformity. But these type of closed systems are overwhelmed by new information when new information comes about nevertheless, okay? So when it overwhelms the barriers that you set up for yourselves as a group. And then, since you don't have enough robustness, why? Because you don't have enough life experience, because you shut out new information, then you're gonna die. The texture will be easy to wash away. So here is overwhelming new information, which are not properly digested, okay? Because you had closed systems that all of a sudden opened up, and then you have a local information which is extended beyond limit, beyond its original domain, and then you have what? You have trends. Trends, memes, fashion, okay? Which we identify as mind viruses. Okay, this type of simple coordination. Okay, this type of simple coordination without abundant life experience. And this type of coordination without proper digestion and local adaptation. Okay, these are mind viruses and they are devastating for a community, right? So the problem is mind viruses, okay? And how do you identify mind viruses? Well, they are uniform, okay? You don't have enough robustness, so you bring in uniform things. You adopt things without adaptation, okay? So you have uniform, conform, coordinated communities, okay, with very simple models, which are not really relevant to a given locality, okay? They are general, they are universal, okay? And then you have secondarily bans, prohibitions, and closed borders, but they are not going to help, because the real defense against mind viruses, of course, is robust health, robustness, which comes from abundance of organized life experiences. So these things will work only in the short run, but as your texture erodes, the whole thing falls apart and your group is no more, okay? So you need organicity for robust health. Organicity means that you are organized based on an abundant system of life experience. So an organic system has different, non-uniform, non-equal, non-homogeneous, non-autonomous, non-separate, non-small, non-unit, non-multitude community spirit, okay? Which is like an energy field forming one robust organism, okay? Processing information continuously. And if you have an inorganic system, it ignores its environment, basically, outside information. It really stands for environment here. And then you have cancer, of course, which, as we said multiple times, does exactly that. It ignores everything coming from the environment. Okay, so an organic system, okay, does not consist of multiple egos, extending scope, but a higher level of thinking, higher plane of attention and consideration. And an organic system does not need simple models. An organic system does not need simple coordination leading to uniformity. It transcends individual atomism, corporeal separateness, like a drop of water, saying, I'm not just a drop, but an organic part of the water cycle. Okay? The idea is that the main goal for the community spirit is this feeling of organic belonging, organic togetherness. So now we need to do something special, okay? And what we are going to do here is go to the next file, okay? And continue our presentation by saying that organicity radiates like a sun, okay? Order, health, and inspiration. There's a spiritual revolution breaking orthodox systems, okay? Not really breaking, it's more like a filling with inspiration, okay? And denials are gonna go into the air like in an explosive manner, because the orthodox systems are doomed to fail in time, because fixation is unnatural. All right. So revolution. When you try to do a revolution, you need to keep in mind that your revolution needs to be more robust than the older system. If you have an even simpler system than the old one, then your revolution is not gonna, survive for long. You incorporate elements of the old system and you change it. Okay, organic versus inorganic revolution. Now this is inorganic revolution when you fight for one idea or a set of ideas. Okay, from a few points of view, few angles. Okay, you don't see the whole. This is more like an organic revolution, right? When you have new as a potentiality, okay, arising from the old, but you are going towards something new. So in an inorganic revolution, okay, truths are otherworldly. Why? Because they are highly stylized, they are idealized, okay? They are from the behind the stars truths, okay? They are very simple models. Oversimplification is a hallmark of inorganic revolution. Artificial separation with opposition. So I am the revolutionary and you are the old element, okay? It's divisive and manipulative, and most importantly, it's unprocessed information spreading like cancer, okay? That's what inorganic revolution is. Now, inorganic revolution, okay, uses liberty as a slogan, okay? But liberty here is not liberty in general. Oh no, liberty from some authority, from some, institution or organization or a separate group, okay? It's free from something, okay? It's not free. Liberty has nothing to do with freedom, okay? So cooperation, even coordination, is natural because of required organicity, okay? But true liberty is not fight to be separate, fight to be independent, okay? But it is dare to be different, okay? So in other words, I fight for my right to be different, to be unique, not separate, okay? not independent, but different. Okay? So I maintain cooperation because I know that organicity remains, but I don't let another part of reality to suppress me and not being able to express my local uniqueness. Okay, so here's our slogan: dare to be different, but not separate. Okay. Organic revolution is based on inspiration, momentum, and enthusiasm, widening horizons that are extensions but not separate planes. Okay. So I extend horizons toward greater um, diversity and abundance. I try to maintain my ability to be unique and abundant, to open up like this flower here. Okay. So an inorganic revolution sees the world as a machine to be used. It wants power so that it can be the user of the machine or a commodity to be consumed. It needs power to kind of redistribute wealth. Okay, that's what an inorganic revolution does, and it basically does what? It changes the users or the consumers, but it maintains the system because as the old system was not very abundant, it is also not very abundant. Okay, so all you do is you redistribute wealth, and then you are going to change the users or the consumers of what? Of power, of wealth. But that's not what we want. We want an organic revolution, okay, in which we are free not from somebody or from something, but we are free to maintain our local uniqueness and maintain the idea that we have infinite potentiality. So we long for abundance and robustness, enthusiasm, energy, and uniqueness. So, again, community spirit are of two types. One is, let's use the world, which is a machine, and let's consume together and distribute and redistribute work and wealth. Okay? With the help of what? Competition, division of labor, division of goods, manipulation, cheating, promotion, sales, commercials, publicity, credit, trends, profit. Okay? And of course, all of this comes down to one imaginary something called money. Or we can have community spirit level 2, one degree higher. Okay? And we say that our community spirit is about creating together, okay? Cooperation, talent, public work, conscience, imagination, uniqueness, value as community projects, robust, healthy community spirit, okay? So in other words, we may choose to be realpolitica, okay, realists, or we may choose to be unique, creative, with infinite potentiality, but maintaining organicity. And so, community spirit determines orientation. Where are we going? It's either individual atomism, multitude, and competition, which comes with fixed values, fixed information, fixed rules, and that creates a non-sustainable bubble which is going to explode sooner or later. Or we can go one a little bit higher than that, and we may focus on abundance, giving us the possibility for organic cooperation, organic unity, and we have new values that we then synthesize with the old values, and we integrate into the system. And all of this is based on common life experience, which we all digest uniquely, but there is, in common life experience, there is some commonality which provides texture for us. And we are going to have a robust, healthy, and stable organism. Not like this, but more like this. Something in organic belonging with its environment. And with that, I thank you for your attention, and goodbye for now.